Hey guys, it's Ms. Hong, and I'm going to go over the interim review packet with you. And as you can see, I have here four things. Now, I know that some of you guys, I was telling you guys, this is what you would want to have. So this is our little brain dump sheet that we filled out in class. This is our packet for interim review, and then if you notice here, this is my interactive notebook. Guys, everything we've basically done up to this point, you can always refer back to this to help you to review for tomorrow's interim, and also for the Georgia milestones. So hopefully you're taking good care of this, and even if you haven't, you still want to make sure that you know, keep it with you at all times, okay? Especially at this point, as you review, if there's anything you need to go back and look at, then by all means do it, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and focus on the actual packet. And I have a calculator here, and remember, you can always watch other videos if you want to refer back to like other examples. Okay, this video is specifically for the interim review. All right, I have my pencil, and as you know, we already did, a lot of us, we did the first page already, but I'll go ahead and go over it. So number one, the figure below shows two parallel lines intersected by a transversal. So you can see these are the two parallel lines. If measure of angle 7 is 42 degrees, find, so that's what it's asking us to find, measure of angle 3 and angle 4. So let's see here. I'm going to show my work, and since they already tell me that the angle 7 is 42, then remember what we said in class, then this is a vertical angle, which is also 42. And if you remember here, vertical angles are equal, they're congruent. So we're going to use that to our advantage. And then by corresponding angles, this is also 42. And either by corresponding or vertical or even alternate interior, this is also 42. So 42, 42 this way, and then this way. It's always going to be consistent because they should correspond. Now how do we find the other angles? You subtract 180. So 180 minus 42 is 138. So if this is 138 by vertical angles, this is also 138. And then to jump to the next intersection, these are corresponding, so, or you can say alternate interior with that angle. Either way, it's a 138, and by vertical, this is 138 as well. Okay, so, and then 138s go this way. So that's one way to kind of help you. Now, why did we do all that? Because it's asking us to find the measure of angle 3 and 4, which are these two. Angle 3 is 138, so definitely not that, definitely not that. Hey, that was actually kind of easy, but let's double check. Measure of angle 4 is 42, yep, so it works for both of these. Lots of these are traps, so be super careful. Number 2. Which equation below will have only one solution? So if you guys remember what we did in class today, we had one solution, no solution, infinite solutions, okay? So if I look at A, here I can already tell that's infinitely many, but if it helps you, okay, here's why it's infinitely many. These are actually identical expressions. Even though they're written in a different order, we've talked about this before, even if they're written in a different order, it's still the same thing. So 4 minus x, if you think of this as a negative x, that's negative x, so these are identical. And then this is a positive 4, so plus 4 is identical as well. So this is actually infinitely many solutions. But if you want to double check it and see what we have left, so I need to take care of the boxes first. That's just the best way to go. So add x, and then whatever I do to one side, I got to do to the other side. Interestingly, they both eliminate, leaving a 4 and a 4, which is true. Okay. Since it's true, this is going to be infinitely many solutions. Okay. So it's not A, because we want one solution, which is a variable has to be left over. So let's take a look at B. Just like A, 1/2 x equals 1/2 x. These are identical. So once again, if you have a box equaling a box and you decide to subtract 1/2 x from both sides, you get 0 equaling a 0, which is true, which means this is infinitely many solutions. So C, you can save yourself some time and you don't have to do all this work. If you can tell they're identical, then they're infinitely many solutions. That means you can put anything on each side for x. Now let's look at B. Negative 3x equals negative 3x plus 9. Is this possibly a one solution? Well, let's see. So if I box and circle, and I add 3x to both sides, then I get, this is, well, interestingly, they both eliminate, so I get a 0 here equaling a 9. Now this is false, okay? This is not true. So that's why this is a no solution, but not a 1 solution, and this is what we're trying to look for. So if we go to D, oh, sorry, that should have been a C. My eyes are playing tricks on me, and that happens, right? So D, 2x equals 19. So you get a box equaling a circle. Okay, so far so good. You divide each side by 2, and you get x equals 9.5, which you have a box equals circle. That's a 1 solution, so D is correct. Now that took me some time to explain it to you, but a lot of you guys can take a look and you can tell which one's a 1 solution in this particular situation, because the equations were pretty short, okay? But if they're longer, you might want to, do the work and make sure you have circle equals circle or box equals circle to, make your conclusion. Number 3, given that lines L and M are parallel and measure of angle C is 72, okay, so this is 72. Okay, which statement is true? So once again, maybe you might want to redraw your lines and say if this is 72, then the vertical to it is 72. Jump over to the corresponding 72 here, and it's vertical 72, which makes sense. They should be corresponding like that. Then the other ones going this way should be supplementary. So 180 minus 180 minus 72 is 108. So this is 108, that's 108, that's 108, and that's 108, okay? So now, which statement is true? Measure of angle A, this one right here, is that equal to 72? Yes, okay? So that means the other one should be false. Let's see. Measure of angle B corresponds with that one. Yep, it's definitely not 72, it's 108. And how about angle E? That's 72 and not 108, okay? And G is 72, not 108. So yeah, these are all false, and A is correct. Now, on a test, if you are confident that A is correct, you don't need to bother checking B, C, and D, okay? But that's cautiously confident. Don't be overly confident where, you're not really doing the due diligence of making sure that you've done the math, okay? And you are confident because of that. Number 4, okay, now this one can go a couple of ways, okay? So I'm going to rewrite it here. And I'm going to draw that, and then I'm going to draw my line and distribute the 3 to the x and to the 10, which makes it 30. Okay, now here is where a lot of you guys might do it differently. Some take care of the boxes, and what happens here, if you do the boxes first like we suggest you guys to do, then these both eliminate and you're left with 30 equals 10, which is false, which means it's a no solution. So it's C. Now, some students doing it a different way may get 0 equals negative 20, or some students get like 20 equals 10. But either way, it shows that it's a no solution. This is just one way to show that it's no solution, okay? So don't worry about this part, okay? That's just one way to determine it's no solution, but this is also another way, and there's also probably a couple of other ways to show it's no solution. But in the end, the answer should be no solution. Okay, let's go to number 5. Solve for x. Okay, simple enough. Now some of you, if you feel like it's faster, if you can eyeball it and just plug these in for x and see if they're equal, by all means, those of you that are confident about that, do it. But if you're not confident, please don't assume that you're going to get it just by looking at it, okay? So I'm going to take care of the boxes first. I'm going to get rid of the 3x, which means I have to subtract the same on this side because this is equals. 5x minus 3x is 2x minus 10 equals, bring down the 2, box, circle, circle. I want the circle to get away from the box, so I'm going to add 10 to both sides. So 2x equals 12, box equals circle. Okay, I got to divide by the coefficient. So x equals 6. Okay, so B is the correct answer. Now remember, if you put the 6 here and here, it should make them equal on both sides. So if I'm eyeballing it, 6 times 5 is 30, minus 10 is 20. Okay, then let's see if this side's 20. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 2, 20 as well, which means none of these should work. Okay, it's a 1 solution. Okay, so lines M and N are parallel. Okay, which of the listed angles also measure 162? So, okay, let's see. So out of these four, this is vertical, so this should be 162. Okay, but also, if you guys remember our little trick, these should also be 162. So out of these four choices, then A and B should be. So C. Okay, number 7, which equation will have infinite solutions? Okay, remember infinite, they should look identical. Now here, these don't look identical, so this is not infinite. Okay, these look identical, so that's infinite. Okay, this is going to be a 1 solution, and this is also going to be a 1 solution. Okay, if you were to subtract 6 from both sides and divide by 5, you'll get x equaling a number. And here you just divide each side by 10, and you'll get x equals 5, which is a box equaling a circle. Okay, so these all have 1 solution. This one has no solution. Okay, because these are not identical. And if you subtract 4x from both sides, you'll get 0 equaling a 9, which is false. Okay? Okay, now notice I didn't show work here, but if you look here, I did work directly on the problems, and that's fine. As long as I see work, you shouldn't just circle the answers, okay? Now this one, I definitely have to recopy that. So 1/2 x minus 2 equals 3x plus 5 minus 2x. Now 1/2, I'm going to change that to a decimal, and the reason I know I can do that is because it's a nice terminating decimal. It's not a repeating one. If it's repeating, then I want to do the 1 ABC2 button, okay, so that I'm using the fraction, because otherwise you'll have to round, and you don't want to do that in any trying to solve exactly what the answer is. So I'm going to change this to a 0.5, and I'm going to distribute it. Now again, when you distribute, that's where a lot of errors happen, so be super careful here. So 0.5 times 1, okay, well I already know what that is, but just to be safe, it's still 0.5. And then don't forget the x. 0.5 times negative 2 equals negative 1, so minus 1 equals. Now I would like to go ahead and combine these. Saves me a step. So 3x minus 2x is 1x, and then bring down the 5. So I'm going to box and circle, box and circle. Okay, I'm going to take care of the boxes first. So this is an invisible 1. I might subtract the 0.5x. You can subtract the 1 if you wanted to. The 1x, that is. So this eliminates. I'm left with the negative 1 equals 1 minus 0.5 equals 0.5 x plus 5. So circle, box, circle. I don't have a box on both sides, so I can go ahead and do the circles. Now, in other words, the constants. Now, which constant do I want to get rid of? The plus 5, okay, so that I separate it from the box. So subtract 5, subtract 5. And if you do this, just to be safe, 1 negative minus 5 is equal to negative 6. Or you can put 1 negative plus 5 negative, but you should still get negative 6. So negative 6 equals 0.5x, and you divide each side by 0.5. So negative 6 divided by 0.5 should equal negative 12. Okay, that took some time, guys, but hey, that's one answer that you know you got right. Okay, so just because it takes a long time doesn't mean you should completely skip it. Be willing to show your work, keep it neat, and finish it. Make sure you have something on each side, okay, until the very end. Okay, imagine the line is still here. I just ran out of room. So when you get to the test, make sure you show your work, okay, and be willing to keep it neat. Don't freak out and start doing all kinds of weird things and leaving steps out and all that, okay? You guys got this. Number 9. Okay, another long equation, which I'm not sure if I'll have enough room in this little box. I'll do the best I can. In fact, maybe I'll just go ahead and distribute here, and then I'll start with the distributed. So 8 times x is 8x, and then 8 times negative 3, again, that's where a lot of errors happen, is negative 24. If you're not sure, always check in the calculator. 8 times negative 3 is negative 24. Okay, and then I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm just going to go ahead and combine these. So 10 minus 6 is 4x, and then we've got a plus 12. And now it's a pretty simple equation. It's shortened a bit. So I'm going to box and circle. Don't box and circle till you've done the distributive property, which we did. And I'm going to take care of boxes first. So you can take care of the 4x or the 8x. I'll try getting rid of the 8x. So subtract 8x from both sides. You get negative 24 equals 4 minus 8 is a negative 4x plus 12. So circle, box, circle. Okay, I have a circle on both sides, so which one should I move? The better one to move is the plus 12. So subtract 12, subtract 12. Okay, so negative 24 minus 12. Whoops, 24 negative minus 12 should be a negative 36, or you can do 24 negative plus 12 negative, and still negative 36. Equals negative 4x. Okay, then I'm going to have to run into this problem, that's fine. Divide by negative 4, divide by negative 4, x equals positive 9. Now, this person, whoever made this test, was being nice to you. They didn't put like one of your answer choices as a negative 9, because if they did, if you guys weren't careful with your signs, you might have chosen that one, okay? Sometimes they're nice like that, sometimes they're not. So be very careful about your signs. The answer is C. Okay, number 10. So lines M and N are, okay, so which statement is true? This is basically like the other problems we did. 82.5, so if it helps. Okay, if this is 82.5, I just transferred it here, then the vertical angle is 82.5. Okay, now alternate here, 82.5, or corresponding, and then vertical to it. And they should be, you know, if you circle it, they should be circling, or, yeah, the same direction. And then the other direction, you subtract 180 minus 82.5. 97.5, 97.5, and 97.5. I almost forgot that one. Okay. So, let's see. Is A, which is this one, is that equal to 82.5? Nope. Okay, so that's out. B, is that equal to 97.5? Let's see. Nope. C, is that equal to 82. Oh, I forgot 97.5. Okay. So, is that equal to? Yeah. But let's see if angle F is also, let's see, 97. Yep, that doesn't work. So, it is C. Alright, I'm going to make another video for this section.